It started with a torn sketchbook and ended with a man in handcuffs. I only stepped in to protect two little girls from a bully in the park. I didn't know their mother was my CEO, or that their enemy would soon become mine. Laughter echoed across the park, but it wasn't the kind that warmed your heart. It was sharp, mean. By the swings, two twin girls were pressed back against the metal frame, clutching each other's hands. A bigger boy shoved them toward the sand, grinning like it was a game. Before the next push landed, a shadow stepped between them. Ethan. Calm voice. Steel eyes. Back off. The boy froze for a second, chin tilted high. They started it. Ethan didn't blink. Try telling the truth. The girls stayed huddled together. The younger one half hid a torn sketchbook behind her back. Ethan crouched down. You okay? Anything hurt? A shake of the head. A whisper. He ripped my sister's drawings. The sketchbook slipped into Ethan's hands like it was something broken. He brushed off the grit, smoothing a page where a bright orange fox had been folded nearly in half. These are good, he said, meaning it. No one gets to treat your work like trash. The boy snorted. My dad owns half this town. Ethan rose to his full height. Then he can afford to buy you better manners. Apologize. Mumbled words. A retreat to the basketball court. That's when a woman in a tailored blazer strode over, heels clicking against the pavement. Harper. Mia. The twins ran to her. She looked at Ethan. I'm Olivia, and you just made an enemy you don't want. A low hum. A matte black sedan rolled past the park. Windows far too dark for a sunny afternoon. Some enemies don't fight in the open. They come for what you care about most. Ethan was locking up the shop when his phone rang. A known number. Mr. Cole? A woman's voice asked. Detective Reynolds. We need to talk about Derek Cole. Her tone was calm, clipped. You crossed his family yesterday. He doesn't just get even, he finds your weak spots. Job. Home. Custody. You've got a daughter, right? Lily. She's 7, Ethan said. Then listen. If you notice strange cars, new customers asking too many questions, or a sudden complaint to CPS, call me. Don't handle it alone. By morning, 2 appointments canceled without reason. The third customer asked about his schedule, who else had keys to the shop. Ethan stared him down until the questions dried up. That afternoon, Olivia's SUV pulled in. She stepped out with a paper bag smelling of coffee and sourdough. Thank you for yesterday. I'm sorry I was short with you. Ethan nodded. You were protecting your kids. Her gaze hardened. Derek's been circling my company for months. Buys people. Spreads rumors. Now he'll use you to hurt me. The twins pressed their faces to the SUV glass until Olivia waved them out. Harper handed Ethan a clean spiral sketchbook. For your daughter, she said. So she can draw with us at the art show. Later, as the sun dipped low, his phone buzzed again. A male voice, smooth and cold. We hear you're open late. Mind if we stop by? Some places are meant to feel safe, until the enemy walks in. The school gym buzzed with the sound of kids' laughter, the sweet smell of cookies, and tables lined with crayon masterpieces. Ethan walked in holding Lily's hand, scanning the crowd until Harper and Mia spotted him. You came. Harper beamed. The twins each grabbed one of his hands and pulled him toward a row of fox drawings. Olivia appeared in a deep green blazer, her sharp edges softening as she knelt to thank Lily for coming. For a moment, the CEO disappeared, and she was just a mom. Then the air shifted. A voice cut through the chatter. Well, if it isn't the hero from the park. Derek Cole. Tall, polished suit. 2 bodyguards in his wake. He stopped beside Ethan, eyes cold. You embarrassed my boy. And when you embarrass my family, you embarrass me. Ethan didn't flinch. If your kid learned not to pick on girls, I'd call that a win. Parents had started watching. Olivia stepped in, her voice sharp as glass. Leave Derek. Or I make sure every reporter in town hears how you harassed a father and 2 little girls at an elementary school. Derek's smirk twitched, but he leaned close to Ethan, breath low and deliberate. Pawns get swept off the board, without anyone noticing. He walked away, bodyguards in tow. Ethan stood still, but his gut told him this game had only just begun. A war had started, and neither of them could walk away. By morning, the fallout began. Ethan opened the shop to find a message from his biggest client, canceling a repair job that would have covered next month's rent. No reason given. Just gone. 2 hours later, Lily's school called. The principal's tone was stiff. We've received a complaint about her attendance. Is there something we should know? Ethan's blood ran cold. No. Someone's lying to you. He didn't need to ask who. Across town, Olivia sat in her office, eyes locked on a spreadsheet that was bleeding red. 2 investors have pulled out, she told her assistant. Both have ties to Derek. That evening she called Ethan. He's not just coming for you, he's hitting us both. If we sit back, he'll keep taking pieces until there's nothing left. What are you thinking? Ethan asked. I'm thinking we stop playing defense. I have access to files, bank transfers, shell accounts, bribes. Enough to put him away for good. But I can't do it alone. We'll need proof from the outside, witnesses, people who'll talk. Ethan stared at the grease on his hands, the faint scar on his knuckles. Going after Derek meant putting himself, and Lily, in the crosshairs. But letting Derek keep his power? That wasn't an option. I'm in, Ethan said. And in that moment they both knew, the target on their backs had just doubled in size. To take down a man like Derek Cole, you need more than courage. Ethan started making calls, not to lawyers or bankers but to people he trusted with his life. An old army buddy who owed him a favor. A retired cop who'd seen Derek's kind before and still had friends in the right places. Every conversation was short, coded. No names over the phone. Just meeting points and times. Meanwhile, Olivia was working her own front. She slipped into her office after hours, bypassed her assistant, and logged into restricted servers. Bank transfers to shell companies. Unexplained offshore accounts. Spreadsheets littered with numbers that screamed bribery. They met in parking lots under flickering streetlights, exchanged flash drives in the shadow of half-closed warehouses. Every step brought them closer to the proof they needed, and closer to the line Derek didn't want crossed. One night, after meeting a contact, they turned down a narrow alley toward Olivia's car. A figure stepped out of the dark. Leather jacket. Hands in pockets. Smile without warmth. You're Mr. Cole, right? The man said to Ethan. Maybe you should stick to fixing cars, and leave the rest alone. Ethan stepped closer, his voice even. Tell your boss if he so much as looks at those girls again. I'll forget I'm trying to be civil. The man didn't reply. He just backed away, disappearing into the shadows he came from. When a man like Derek feels cornered, he gets dangerous. Olivia's voice was tight when she called Ethan. He's moving after the twins now. Not directly, but he's threatening to cut the funding for their school's art program. If the board caves, Harper and Mia lose the one place they feel safe. Ethan's jaw locked. That's not going to happen. Later that night, Derek's messenger showed up at the shop again. Same smirk, same hands in pockets swagger. Ethan didn't wait for him to speak. You tell him this, he said, stepping close enough to feel the man's breath. If he touches those girls again, I stop being civil. The messenger's grin faltered before he turned and walked away. By now the case against Derek was nearly complete. Olivia had the files. Ethan had the witnesses and recordings. But they both knew he was watching them, waiting for a chance to hit back before they struck. They met in a diner after midnight, speaking in low tones over untouched coffee. One more piece, Olivia said, sliding a flash drive across the table. When this goes public, he's finished. Ethan pocketed it, glancing out the window. And that's when he saw it, parked half a block down. The same matte black sedan from the park. Engine idling. Windows too dark to see through. Only this time, it was outside Lily's school. Sometimes justice doesn't knock, it kicks the door in. At sunrise, the first leaks hit the media. By 9 a.m., Derek Cole's face was on every local channel, his name scrolling beneath words like embezzlement, bribery, and fraud. Reporters swarmed his office steps. By noon, the stock value of his company had fallen so fast that trading was halted. By evening, federal agents marched him out in handcuffs, cameras flashing, microphones thrust in his face as he kept his eyes down. Detective Reynolds called Ethan personally. It's over. Federal custody. No bail. You and your daughter are clear, and so is Olivia's family. Ethan let the words sink in. For the first time in weeks, the knot in his chest loosened. He walked to the shop door and looked out. The street was empty. Quiet. No idling engines. No strangers pretending to browse. Still, old habits die hard. He found himself scanning the corners, checking for dark windows, listening for the low hum of an engine that didn't belong. That night, the shop stayed open later than usual. Not for customers, but because Ethan wasn't ready to believe the fight was truly over. In the silence, he caught himself glancing at the street again. Because when you've been hunted long enough, you never stop looking over your shoulder. Some bonds are forged in battle, and survive long after the war. Headlights swept across the shop bay, cutting through the quiet. Ethan looked up from his workbench just as Olivia's familiar SUV pulled in. She stepped out, the twins right behind her, each balancing a covered dish. "We thought we'd bring dinner," Olivia said, her voice lighter now, free of the weight it had carried for weeks. The girls hurried inside, the smell of warm bread and roasted chicken filling the air. Harper handed Lily a brand new sketchbook, identical to the one ruined in the park. "So you can draw with us," she said. Mia unrolled a large sheet of paper, bright colors, looping letters. Ethan standing in front of the twins and Lily, the words "Our hero" scrawled across the top. Ethan swallowed hard. This means a lot. They set the dishes on the hood of a car, using it as a table. Plates clinked, soda fizzed, and laughter spilled into the air. For the first time in weeks, the shop felt alive again, not with engines and tools but with warmth. Olivia caught Ethan's eye. No words, just a look that said, "We made it." The girls' chatter filled the space, their voices bright against the hum of the cooling engines. The shadow of Derek Cole was gone, but the bond by the swings would outlast every threat that ever tried to break it.